Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm, of course, Paul Glasgow here, the one and only truth pimp, dealing you a vulgar display of logic and reason on a daily basis. Today is kind of a PSA, public service announcement. And the reason why is because I want to make sure that some of the things that these politicians have done who are up for re-election in a very short period of time, they stay at the front of mind. They don't get away with the things they've done. Politicians are notorious for whenever they want to appease the other side and go against their voting constituents. They're known for looking far enough ahead to realize when they're going to get reelected and not touching something if it's too close to an election time, but assuming that the voting American public are stupid, and if they probably give it about a 3 or 4 year cushion, everybody's too dumb to remember that they voted against what their wishes were. Not so fast. I got a couple of guys here that I've been targeting, and I'm going to continue to target and push all the way through until we get them out. And there's some positive things going on right now that hopefully will help that to happen. First is John Cornin of Texas. Cornin, of course, co-authored in 2018 the Fix the NICS bill. This bill expanded the NICS system, leading to increased restrictions on gun ownership, particularly for veterans. But more importantly, Cornin is known for being the lead negotiator for the, quote, bipartisan gun safety legislation called the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act in 2022 under Joe Biden. He was instrumental in making sure that this bill got to Joe Biden's desk so that he would sign it into law. It included enhanced background checks for gun buyers under 21, in other words, making more hurdles and burdens for people 18 to 21, people with the least amount of money, people who probably needed fewer burdens because they didn't have much money and they lived in lower income areas. Now they were seeking to disarm these people thanks to John Cornin. Biggest thing was funding for states to implement crisis intervention programs, quote unquote, including red flag gun laws. That's right. John Cornin was instrumental in negotiating and pushing through a bill that led to red flag gun laws, or at least lots of money earmarked so that the red flag gun laws could be put into place at the state level and community levels. Now, if you go to John Cornin's own website, you'll notice some things are missing, but some things are there. The things that are missing, well, guess what? His biggest claim to fame, according to me, is that Bipartisan Safer Communities Act and his involvement, his direct involvement in it, and how instrumental he was to helping push it across the finish line so Joe Biden can sign it into law. Notice when he lists on his website the things that he stands for regarding issues, under defending the Second Amendment, he does not list that major accomplishment that he helped push through in 2022. I want to remind you guys that next year Cornin is up for re-election. Just want you guys to know that. So that would be 4 years out. So he thinks you're too stupid to remember that. And in order to help you forget that, he does not include that under his own issues tab on his own website regarding the Second Amendment. Now, he brags here, as if it means something, that he's earned an A+ rating from the National Rifle Association and an A rating from the National Shooting Sports Foundation, which is not known for doing a whole lot to help us out in the gun community anyway. Now, Ken Paxton, the Attorney General for Texas, has already announced that he's running to try to primary Cornin out. And at this point, he's smoking him in the polls. I mean, Ken Paxton is freaking light years ahead of John Cornin. John Cornin is done unless they find something on Paxton, which you can bet big money is going to follow Cornin. So Paxton does have his work cut out for him as far as that primary campaign. But at this point, there's such a major gap between them. I mean, Paxton's running away with it. It's clear that the people in Texas remember what Cornin did to push through red flag gun laws and other anti-gun bills. So I don't think the people of Texas have forgotten about what Cornin did. And it looks like Cornin, again, unless the wheels fall off of Paxton's own campaign, the primary Cornin, it looks like Cornin's going to be gone. Now, my next favorite one, and this is probably my favorite one to primary out, is right here in my own backyard in Louisiana, Senator Bill Cassidy. Cassidy's a snake. Cassidy voted in favor of that same Bipartisan Safer Communities Act that was signed into law by President Joe Biden on June 25th of 2022. This was all following the Uvalde school shooting. So it was kind of a knee-jerk reaction, a lot of emotion. I've said it before that we should not legislate based on emotion, and they did it. I wonder if maybe Cassidy doesn't have XY chromosomes. Maybe he has more XX chromosomes because he acted like a freaking woman based on his voting record on emotion. Yeah, Uvalde happened, horrible thing. Well, I'm not going to vote some or get behind any bills that are anti-gun bills just because somebody else failed at their job securing a school. It doesn't mean you take people's rights away from them because somebody else failed to do what they were supposed to do. That's not why you pass legislation. But Cassidy did, and that was just a joke about the women, of course. I'm just being funny here. But obviously, he's got some low testosterone going on there because he did act like a damn girl. I want to remind you guys that Bipartisan Safer Communities Act had red flag funding in it. Now, the reason why I said the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act had funding in it, it didn't actually have a federal law for red flag gun laws in it, because I believe the politicians know at the federal level the Second Amendment is going to make this thing, if they tried to pass a red flag gun law and strip due process, they say it has due process, but it has a red flag gun law A and a B. A is one that includes due process where they go to you and they say, hey, are you a danger? And that's your due process where they're actually questioning you and they can still take your guns away. Where B is, oh no, they're a danger. We're taking their guns away and then we'll give them the due process later. Due process later. So they included due process in one of them so they could say, oh no, our bill has due process in it. It's just that red flag gun law B doesn't. So they don't tell you, oh, we have one option that doesn't have due process, but we included it over here. No, any red flag gun law is unconstitutional. And they know at the federal level it wouldn't pass. I don't think it would pass. Under a heavy Democrat-run Congress and president, it probably would, but I don't think it would pass under a conservative-minded one, for that matter. So they earmarked all this money at the federal level to give to these states. Remember, 50 different states. So that's 50 different fights. They know they won't lose every single one of them. They've got their Californias, Washingtons, Illinois, Massachusetts, Connecticut's. There's states that are more than willing to take that federal money, it's bribe money, in order to implement a red flag gun law. Some already have red flag gun laws. So it's an easy win for them. So instead of losing the whole thing at the federal level, they broke it up into 50. So that they could give all that money at the state level. And again, they know they're going to lose some, but they're going to win a lot too. Cassidy was instrumental in that. These two guys, Cornin and Cassidy, need to go. Now, I don't have any big names to throw at you for Cassidy because not everybody who is considering running against him, to primary him, has announced yet. There's still a lot of question marks out there. Like Texas, Paxton is running away with it. I don't think anybody else is going to get in the race, or why would they at this point from a primary standpoint. In Louisiana, there's speculation about a lot of people. Some I'm excited about, some I'm not. But we don't have any big names yet. However, I think if the right name comes on board, he's gone. Cassidy's history. People of Louisiana are just as smart as the people of Texas. Even though it was 4 years ago, or it will have been by the time they run for their campaign. It's been 3 at this point. Since they passed this red flag gun law bill and all the other stuff regarding Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, I think the people of Louisiana are going to remember also, even though that time frame has passed. People of Texas obviously have sent a message to Cornin, and I don't think there's anything Cornin can do to save himself. Now, looking at Cassidy's website, same thing. Guess what he doesn't brag about? His involvement in the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. So neither one of these guys are proud of what they did. They did it thinking you were too stupid to remember once it came time to vote for them. My job here, I'm going to remind everybody. I'm going to make sure that these two guys get primaried out and we get somebody in there that will carry the torch for the Second Amendment community. Not like these fake guys right here. These guys right here don't deserve another vote from us. Now remember, they're going to have big money behind them, but they don't have any grassroots behind them. We can get the Second Amendment community behind whoever is opposing them in the primary and get them out. They've shown their true colors, and don't think they won't do it again when the time comes.
thought this was America.